Welcome to SVG-TV News for Monday, February 13, 2017. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. Some 8 years after earthworks officially began, Vincentians and other persons here and in the diaspora will witness history tomorrow, the official opening of SVG's first ever international airport. Having missed several deadlines, the commencement of operations at the Argyle International Airport seeks to aid in the advancement of economic growth and development for this multi-island state. In this report from SVG-TV's Nikita Tony, we get a brief overview of the coming into being of the Argyle International Airport.
To construct the Argyle International Airport was announced on August 8, 2005 by leader of the Unity Labour Party, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves. 3 years later, on August 13, 2008, the work began on the biggest capital project to be undertaken in this country's history. Tomorrow, February 14, 2017, Vincentians here and abroad will witness the reality of the Argyle International Airport, which not only heralds the beginning of a new era in air transport, but is also a catalyst for economic growth and development in SVG as operations officially commence at the AIA. Built on approximately 275 acres of acquired land, the AIA, compared to the 61 acres at the E.T. Joshua Airport, is being labeled a spectacle in aviation. With a paved runway measuring some 2,743 meters or 9,000 feet long and 45 meters or 150 meters wide, designed to accommodate a jet as large as the Boeing 747-400. The air facility carries a construction price tag of some $729 million, with an annual operational cost projected at $20 million. Assistance on the project was received from grant funds and pledges from a number of friendly countries, including the Republic of Cuba, the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, the Republic of China on Taiwan, Trinidad and Tobago, Mexico, Austria, Malaysia, Turkey, and Iran. Throughout the years, the air facility has encountered many challenges by way of missed deadlines and criticisms until last December, when Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves officially announced that the air facility would open on Valentine's Day this year. News then surfaced of plans by the government through the SVG Tourism Authority to organize chartered international flights to land at the AIA come opening day, that of Sunwing Airlines from Toronto, Canada, and Caribbean Airlines CAL from New York, USA, with CEO of Roraima Airlines, Gerald Govaya, later on promising Prime Minister Gonsalves to have a red and white 767 dynamic international airline flight land at the AIA on opening day as a Valentine's present. Earlier in January, the Prime Minister outlined that the AIA received approval from the Eastern Caribbean Civil Aviation Authority ECA to begin operations as of 12:01 a.m. on February 14th, officially ceasing operations at the E.T. Joshua Airport, which has served this country for some 50 years. The ULP government, in its 2015 General Elections Manifesto, outlined plans to construct a modern acute referral medical facility at the site of the E.T. Joshua. Over the last 2 weeks, preparatory exercises have been carried out at the air facility to ensure that staff members and systems are functioning properly as they ease closer to commencing operations. Earlier today, Monday, February 13th, Prime Minister Gonsalves met with the president of the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, Dr. Olumoyiwa Bernard Aliu. Hours before, government officials accompanied by dignitaries attend the ceremony to unveil the plaque at the AIA, which will also feature a military parade. On the evening of Tuesday 14th, Vincentians are expected to come out in their numbers to witness the opening of the air facility, where the government will host a rally under the hangars. Officials of the government, as well as the International Airport Development Company, IADC, Argyle International Airport Company, and other invited dignitaries and guests will address the gathering. Later on this evening, when the final flight arrives at the E.T. Joshua Airport, it will make its way to the tarmac of the AIA, where it will make its first flight out from the air facility at 6:45 tomorrow morning. The traveling public is asked to note that operations will cease at the E.T. Joshua Airport after the last LIAT flight later this evening, and that all flights scheduled for tomorrow, 14th February and beyond, will depart and arrive at the Argyle International Airport. Nikita Tony reporting for SVG-TV News.
And earlier, a military parade and flag raising ceremony was held at the AIA site. The event was attended by a number of government officials and other dignitaries and a large cross-section of Vincentians who cheered loudly as the flag was raised outside of the main terminal building at the AIA. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of National Security, Air and Sea Transport, Godfrey Pompey, described the opening of the AIA as a moment of truth. Air Representative for South Windward, Frederick Stevenson, said the air facility is no longer a dream but a reality, and thanked those who gave up properties and made the necessary sacrifices in the interest of national development. He said the Argyle International Airport means not only better air access but more development for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and all Vincentians must come together to make it work. Former Air Representative Sir Vincent Beach outlined that while some might want the airport to fail, it has become a reality through the greatness of Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves and could not have been built without his faith. Ambassador of the Republic of China on Taiwan, Bo Zhou, said he and his government are pleased to be associated with the establishment of the Argyle International Airport. Greeting the Vincentian people and various dignitaries, a proud Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves said the events today and tomorrow are not political and must be worthy of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines as national events. PM Gonsalves said whatever has been built is a symbol or metaphor, not a limitation to our imagination as a people, and the AIA is a bridge to the world. And the Eastern Caribbean Civil Aviation Authority is a capable body which operates in accordance with standards and is dedicated to safety and security. That's according to Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves as he spoke on a radio program on Sunday in relation to the opening and operation of the Argyle International Airport. In responding to a question on the need for the U.S.-based Federal Aviation Authority, the FAA's approval for the commencement of operation at the AIA, the Prime Minister stated that the Eastern Caribbean Civil Aviation Authority, which is the authority that regulates aviation here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, is audited by the FAA from time to time to ensure that it complies with international standards, and that is sufficient.
Our Eastern Caribbean Civil Aviation Authority comes. But what happens is this, because of the strength of the FAA and because they are such a very well organized entity and because we work closely to one another, and they had approved us for themselves as a Category 1 jurisdiction, meaning that aircraft registered in our jurisdiction can fly straight to the USA.
Yes.
We have asked them to audit on an ongoing basis ECA. So they don't come to check our aerodromes, but they check ECA to see if ECA is carrying out its functions in accordance with the law, but very importantly in accordance with ICAO standards.
Yes. Very cool.
So we don't need we don't need something from FAA.
Highlighting the difficulties which another country within the ECCA's jurisdiction face in order to gain approval for flight operation, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves stated that whilst the entity applies the rule in a conservative manner, it is dedicated to safety and security.
In St. Martin, but I've had a difficult time to get their approval for one simple reason. You see where the plane turns to take off?
Yeah.
You see the road is at the same level like the turning spot for the takeoff?
Right, that was a problem.
That's why ours, you see, is more than 15 feet below. 5 feet wouldn't satisfy them, 7 feet wouldn't satisfy them. Eh?
Exactly.
And you can see the reason for that.
Yes. Well, that you said that's quite plain. That should clear up a lot.
So the fellas, sometimes I get frustrated with them. But of course, they're the regulators. And I can't. Yeah, I have to abide by them. But they're independent. But sometimes the application of the rules can be so conservative. But they put a lot of emphasis on our safety and our security and thank God.
Dr. Gonsalves noted that whilst the Argyle International Airport signifies a modern gateway to the global world, there is a need to recognize the importance of the past and the significance that the area has to the descendants of all Vincentians, and stated that work will continue in an effort to preserve and showcase the historical artifacts found at Argyle.
The weave of history has brought us to one. And then the archaeological finds, the care with which we took with the petroglyphs. And that's a project which we have to continue to put them, the park. We have to build that up now. The excavations, the archaeological excavations there, which were dug up of pre-Columbian lives, making us rethink our history in many important respects about the quality of the artifacts found, which the Aboriginal peoples had, the original peoples, the indigenous peoples. So I thought, while we are thinking about all the huge things about Argyle, which it represents a modern gateway to a global world, we have to remember these things.
In other news, under the theme Moving Forward Together, One Nation, One People, One Vinci, the opposition New Democratic Party, NDP, held its 39th convention on Sunday, February 12, 2017 at the Layu Hard Court. SVG-TV Sharon Gawe was there and files this report.
What about the let's get together and feel all right?
With a unified mindset and approach, the opposition New Democratic Party's chairman, Dr. Linton Lewis, rallied the call for supporters to not be disheartened by what he termed as political tribalism that was causing discord and frustration in the country.
And who, irrespective of political affiliation, NDP, ULP, Green Party, or other, you are touched with our love and our caring. We are all one, Vinci.
This theme for an integrated approach was also sounded by Member of Parliament, MP for Central Kingstown, Sinclair Leacock, who at one time was insinuating that he would not be contesting for a position on the executive of the party.
It be blood that flows through you. You would hold tightly the hands of your current leader, Dr. Friday, and with his worthy colleagues, see us to the mountaintop and to the promised land.
Opposition leader Dr. Godwin Friday, in his address, said he was pleased to return to what Central Leeward candidate Benjamin Exeter described as ground zero and thanked voters for their support. Dr. Friday, in his address to the gathering, advocated the need for unification. The opposition leader also read a letter he had written to the Eastern Caribbean Civil Aviation Authority over concerns about the readiness and safety of the Argyle International Airport. He also called for an updated findings and certification and said that he is yet to receive a response.
That these circumstances now arise after your authority has certified the facility for commercial operations. As your correspondence of authorization has not been publicized, and we are unaware of any specific details, provisos, or caveats thereto, we are, in light of the foregoing, requesting your detailed advice on the following matter of national urgency.
Dr. Friday said his party is anxiously awaiting the hearing of the election petitions in the court on March 7th in St. Lucia. In the second part of the NDP's convention, the political party elected a new executive, with Member of Parliament for West Kingstown, Daniel Cummings, getting the nod as chairman. MP for North Leeward, Patel Matthews, and MP for Central Kingstown, Sinclair Leacock, were elected to serve as the party's first and second vice presidents. The General Secretary position was nabbed by former Coast Guard Commander Tyrone James, Treasurer Bernard Mills, and Public Relations Officer Laverne King. The event also saw the honoring of former opposition leader Arnhem Eustace and the appreciation of new leader Dr. Godwin.
Here today at LAU, we saw a number of stalwarts of the NDP being honored. Also, we see a sense of renewed vigor within the younger generation of the NDP. But there seems to be a renewed call for unity amongst not only the party, but for the country as well. Reporting for SVG Television News, I am Sharon Garrett.
Meanwhile, supporters and other well-wishers who attended the NDP's 39th convention gave their feedback on what stood out most to them at the event.
Proven my point in that a lot of people felt he is soft and he cannot make a good leader, and I think he has done it in the most excellent way today. His material, the content, as I said, very pertinent, and as a leader, that is the type of person we want.
What do you think about Dr. Friday's presentation?
Well, I think his presentation was all right, and he will be a good leadership.
And also Kenlin was very good, and Mr. Linton's speech was good, and Mr. Leacock. Mr. Dr. Friday's speech, it was good, and I like how he was talking about all of us to sit together, one party. So I'm happy, and I'm happy to be an NDP supporter.
Really impressed with Dr. Friday, our new leader, and also not forgetting Kenlin. He made a very good gesture, you know, presenting these plaques to the rightful Prime Minister, Arnhem Eustace. And you don't know, I'm an Arnhem man, right you. But support, big up to Dr. Friday, right you.
I think the part with the letter that he wrote concerning the airport, which we know that the leader of the United Labour Party wanted to make him look like a fool. So I'm very proud that he can defend himself properly.
The best presentation today is made by Mr. the Honorable Leader. I was impressed how he embraced everybody, and the statesman is presented well, get precise to the point. And I think that with him as our leader, he would be well respected, will get a lot of support.
Well, Dr. Friday's presentation, I think he enlightened a lot of people more about the raise of the taxes, because when budget presentation going on, sometimes a lot of people on their busy schedule do not have the time to pay attention. So I'm glad that he enlightened that, so that people are even more aware of all the taxes of salt, because 1% across the board is a lot.
There was no credible alternative presented by the opposition to the strategies and accompanying work plans and programs outlined in the 2017 budget. That's the view of Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, as he wrapped up the presentation and debate of the 2017 budget on Friday.
Supplemented by copious reading from newspaper articles. Is this what we're expecting from a party which claims to be the government in waiting? I say this as tunnel visioned as the leader, the former leader of the opposition was. At least persons could have walked away saying, you know, he has some idea, wrong-headed as they may be. I must say to my honorable friend, I expected better. The country, more importantly, expected better. And I'm sure his own party expected better.
Making a reference to an encounter between the leader of the opposition, Dr. Godwin Friday, and a group of students recently, PM Gonsalves outlined that Dr. Friday seems to be, in his opinion, not only rewriting history in his budget presentation, but also in his own role in regards to him opposing the coming into being of the Argyle International Airport.
I take anything other than the most superficial comfort from his declaration that we must all make the Argyle International Airport work. And the student said, yes, the announcement was made to open the international airport. He said, oh, there's going to be an international airport? That is 2 weeks ago.
And you were there.
Well, I got an authoritative and reliable report on your interaction with those students, and I believe it because it is consistent with all what you have been saying since this idea of an international airport to be built by the ULP government was broached. I'm going to hang it around your neck, both of them, like an albatross. And you will be like in the rhyme of the ancient mariner, you'll be watching things around you. Water, water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. You'll get none of it. You'll never see office to come over here. Water, water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. I'll hang them around your neck.
The Prime Minister further noted that only one opposition MP had genuinely joined the budget debate and offered a perspective of substance based on a compelling developmental narrative.
Who, when you reflected on what he said, you will say that this is an individual of some maturity and given some thought to how perhaps we can all work together to develop this country, and provided some specifics upon which reasonable policymakers can reflect. He's a member for Central Kingston, the only one. And I'm not making this comment to take advantage of the way they are trying on the opposition side to isolate him and humiliate him. No, I'm not doing that, because that is not my direct business. It is my business only to the extent that it reflects on the body politic.
Transport Works, Rural Development and Local Government Minister Julian Francis has denounced the notion that there is a non-existent local government in this country. His comments came during his contribution to the 2017 budget debate. Senator Francis explained that while there is not an elected local government, one has been in place and effectively operational under an effective system of town boards and village councils.
$3.73 million was allocated for local government. The department employed 872 workers, which consists of about 20% of periodical workers. At peak times, when you're doing road cleaning, back to school and Christmas and so on. The others are employed on a permanent basis to clean and to maintain and to do little drains. So we have local government operations in Georgetown Town Board that has an allocation of $140,000. It's in the 2017 budget. And in this budget, we have $3.72 million allocated, which represents 13.25% of the $28 million of recurrent expenditure for the ministry.
Speaking on the damage caused by the 2016 trough systems, particularly to several cemeteries across SVG, the government senator noted the cost of restoration work will tally over 12,000 EC dollars.
The disaster we had last year with cemeteries, 3 cemeteries were mashed up. 117 graves were affected. 75 in Park Hill, 27 in Sandy Bay, and 15 in Rosebank. It is going to cost us $111,800 to exhume those that are threatened and rebury them. That is part of the local government operation that is taking place. Discussions are going on with the undertaker, funeral home, and soon we shall come to settle in this matter.
And area representative for North Leeward, Roland Patel Matthews, is of the view the constituency has a lot of potential to contribute to the development of SVG's tourism sector and urged the government to explore the constituency's untapped potential.
Mr. Speaker, we can do things in our constituency. North Leeward, as I always boast, is one of St. Vincent's most beautiful constituency. I beg you, the Minister of Tourism, to wake up from your slumber and take this advice. That North Leeward is ready to make its contribution to tourism development in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. North Leeward is one of the few constituencies that can survive on its own. We have the water. We have land. What more do we want?
Police here are investigating the discovery of bones appeared to be that of human remains found in the Peters Hope area. According to the police, the discovery was made sometime around 1:15 p.m. today by workers clearing the area along the Old Sugar Mill Road for the commencement of construction work by Canadian investors Pace Development. Reports indicated that the bones may have been in the area for a significant amount of time. According to the police, the investigation will heavily rely on tests to be carried out by a pathologist who will determine the amount of time the bones have been in the area, whether they are human bones, and also whether the body was either male or female.